Hi there, I'm Dr. Duc Vuong, world famous bariatric surgeon, author of 13 books. Here's my med school diploma right there. And here is my general surgery residency diploma. I finished in 2005. Tonight, we're going to talk about the announcement from Pfizer about their vaccine, okay, that's coming out. First of all, I want to make this very, very clear. I love y'all, but y'all need to know this is not an election. Okay, so if you think that somehow this is where did it go? Here we go. If you think this is an election conspiracy, you're some sort of special. Seriously, because it's not. We have been expecting this announcement. The doctors, the healthcare professionals, Pfizer has been saying that they were going to release some data, a report, mid-November. They were trying to be aggressive and say early November, and that's where Trump started saying about, oh, around the election time. Dude, it's an interim report, right? We've been expecting this. This is not a conspiracy. So that's the first thing you should know. Number two, this is an, okay? It's kind of like how you got to give updates. If you're working on a project, you got to give your boss an update. This is basically an interim report. They're only giving you an update on what's happening with their vaccine. The vaccine is not ready. It's not coming out. It's not political. You still have to face mask. You still have to social distance. You still have to wash your fucking hands. You know, this is stop celebrating, stop saying that, stop politicizing it, stop saying, oh, see, look, it's because of the election, it's because of this, and Trump was right. Trump was, come on, we're just talking, we expected this, guys. This is an interim report, and what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing more interim reports because there's more than one vaccine. You guys understand that, right? I think there's like 5 or 6 active trials that are going on. Pfizer is furthest. There's Gilead, there's Johnson & Johnson. You know, there's lots of vaccine trials out there, okay? So you're going to get more of these reports. The idea is to know what you're freaking talking about so you know how to share it and not get emotional about it. Okay, so this is just an early interim report. What I want to do is share with you my screen real quick and pull up the press release. Okay, so hang tight with me here. Let me share my screen with you. And we're going to talk about this report. Okay, so here's the report. If you just Google it, and this is from the Pfizer webpage. So we know, okay, they're releasing this announcement. And the top line, obviously, they're going to lead with the good news. It's 90% effective preventing COVID-19 participants. We're going to talk about that here in a second, okay? They had 94 confirmed cases. Out of 43,538 participants, they had 94 confirmed cases, okay? But their goal is to get to 164, right? So there's a couple of things I want to talk about this. Again, I'm going to say that this is an interim, you guys see it right here, interim efficacy analysis conducted on November 8th. It's an interim efficacy analysis just to see how good it is. See, the first set of results from our phase 3 trial, and the other thing you have to know is they actually haven't released the numbers. They're only releasing a press release. So the doctors, the statisticians, the epidemiologists, they haven't had a chance to actually look at the report, actually look at the numbers. They're just like you and me reading the results of the press release. That's all they're doing. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing because there's really nothing super important with that press release. So let's go back so I can type here. All right. So 43. Yeah. So over 43,000 participants. All right, and about 94 positive cases. So this is one of the interesting things about a vaccine. The way they're conducting this trial is they're inoculating people in the trial, and they're giving another one placebo, and they go forward and they tell them to wear masks, social distance, wash your hands, all that sort of stuff, and then you have to wait and see who catches the virus and who doesn't. So you have to think about this, right? Because you're telling them, you're trying to test the efficacy of this vaccine, but you're telling them to take precautions to not catch it, right? Which is important. You have to do that. And so participants are being cautious. They're not like, or they're supposed to be cautious. They're not like going to rallies and parties. They're not supposed to be. And then you have to wait for enough people to catch the virus and then compare the data. So they had, I forgot what was the number, 94 cases. They looked at it. And a couple of things that you have to understand. Let me talk about this vaccine, number 3. Okay, Pfizer, and I'm just going to say we're just talking about the Pfizer vaccine tonight because they're different. They're all different. Pfizer vax is mRNA and double dose. This is important. Okay. I'm going to get into the science a little bit here. So the Pfizer vaccine is an mRNA vaccine, and it's a double dose vaccine. So let's talk about the mRNA first. So DNA is a double helix. Think back to biology, right? And when it replicates or makes mRNA, stands for messenger RNA, and this actually targets the messenger RNA that creates the spike protein. The spike protein is the protein that binds to your pneumocytes that gets into your lungs. So it's blocking the production of that spike protein. So it's a very smart way to attack this virus. Okay. Now, obviously, if that part of the vaccine, if that part of the virus is malfunctioning, is not working right, didn't get transcribed right, then obviously it can't enter your cells and cause damage. Okay. And eventually the virus will get cleared by your body. Okay, other immune systems. So it's an actual messenger RNA. It's not. There are other vaccines where you can have an attenuated vaccine, so you can get the actual virus and then just knock out the virulence of it by doing some other things to the actual virus. That's kind of dangerous because we don't know what we're dealing with here with the coronavirus. There's also DNA vaccines. And oddly, a lot of the coronavirus, it's a family of viruses. So we actually have the genetic sequence for SARS-CoV-2, but you don't have to. And actually, some vaccines are using viruses from other viruses and not the actual SARS-CoV-2. So that's why we have to test for this, right? But this Pfizer vaccine actually happens to be an mRNA vaccine. But here's the key. It's a double dose vaccine. Okay, so you take it day 1, you get a dose. And then I think 3 weeks later, you get a second dose, because today's report is looking at 7 days after the second dose, which is the 28-day number you get. Okay, I could be wrong on that. They weren't very clear, but I think that's the case. I don't think the second dose is 28 days and then a week after that. Regardless, it's going to be about a month total from your initial inoculation. So number one thing you have to know that in order for this vaccine to work, you have to have both doses. Now, I know we are all human and we're flawed. When this comes out, not everybody's going to get that second dose, are they? Some people are going to get busy you know, moved, lost their insurance. Oh, I forgot, couldn't find a babysitter, all sorts of reasons. So we just know, because there are some doses, like the hepatitis dose, for example, vaccine, you have to have 2 doses. So there are just going to be some people who don't get that second dose. So I expect that number, that 90% efficacy rate, to drop. Okay. So number 4, expect the 90%. Okay, as this goes out, so the next phase of the next report they're going to release is looking at 2 weeks. What happens 2 weeks after the second dose? All right. So I would expect some of this efficacy to decrease. Now, if you're in a trial and you are enrolled and you might or might not be paid, but your dosing is free, then, and you have people calling you, people reminding you, so you're pretty much going to get your second dose. We've talked about that. And we were hoping that we could get anywhere between 60 to 70%. Most of the doctors were going to get 70%. Now, comment, put a note, put a note in the comment section if you did not know. Check this shit out. In order for the coronavirus vaccine to be approved, it only has to be 50% effective. 50. Put a no in the comment section if you did not know that it only had to be 50% effective. It's a coin toss. It is 1 out of 2. In order for a vaccine to be proven, it only has to be 50% effective. Oh gosh, I went over time. Drum roll. Who wants to see my results? COVID rapid test. Boom, baby. Dr. V's negative. See, only 1 red line. Okay. So message me, Dr. Vuong, Facebook.com/Dr. Vuong, if you're interested in getting one of my test kits. Right now I'm doing a special. These normally go for five for $500, 5 for $500, so 100 each. But tonight, and in the past, I've done these $50 each, minimum order of 40. Because of it's Thanksgiving, because people are trying to get together, because people haven't been working, I've dropped, right now, tonight, I've dropped the minimum requirement to 20 tests. So you can get 20 tests, $50 each. That's a $1,000 investment, and keep everybody safe. 10-minute results. I just did it right here. Just got my results. You read it like a pregnancy test. Okay, so just message me at facebook.com. Just put 20 for $1,000 special, so I know you know the price. I've spent a lot of days like trying to chase down people who are like, oh, I can't afford that. I'm like, well, I've been telling you the price. Okay, anyway, you can get a group of people together. I don't really care, you know. Okay, so I totally forgot what I was saying because I had to look at that. 95% accurate. It's on the FDA EUA list. You don't send it to the lab. 10-minute results. 95% accurate. The nasal one's only 70% accurate. Okay. Oh no. Okay, I remember what I was talking about now. Okay. In order for a vaccine to be approved, it only has to be 50% effective. So today's news that this vaccine from Pfizer is 90% effective is very good. But again, the doctors have not, the scientists and epidemiologists have not reviewed the numbers or the report. We only see the press release. They've only seen the press release, just like you guys have access to the press release. So I think most doctors will still be very happy if that 90% drops down to like 70%. Okay, 70%. And so 90% is good, but expect that number to go down. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so here's the timeline, because some people are like, hey, this is an election thing. See, I told you Trump was right. It was going to be all up. No, listen, fucker. We're at 111,000 cases a day average here in America. It's not going away. That's a special type of stupid, people who think that way, right? Okay, so here's the timeline. They are hoping the 3rd week of November to have the second, the 14-day report, and then they're going to apply to the FDA EUA, Emergency Use Act list approval, so they can get emergency use approved. And then once that will take the process, because that they have to, I'm sure they probably have most of that already ready to go. And then that has to go before the FDA and then the regulatory boards, the review board, blah, blah, and then they make a recommendation, okay? Then they have to ramp up production. And now I know that there's this talk about Operation Warp Speed, and they're already starting to line up and da-da-da. But trust me, it's going to, this is not good, because this is actually in the press release, okay? So really, really, realistically, you're not going to see this vaccine at the earliest until April at the earliest. This vaccine might okay. There's more. Hold on. Don't go yet. Okay. So at the earliest, this vaccine might be out in April. Now, they might produce some and try it out on a select few, like healthcare workers, frontline people, things like that. But regarding the first, first widely dispensed, it's looking like April. So we've got November to go down, December, January, February, March, April. We got another freaking 6 months, guys. All right. And then, right, it'll be widely available in, let's say, April. And then you got to take 2 doses of it. So that's May. And then you got to wait for the antibodies to form and to show that it's effective, right? So that's another 2 weeks. So you're really looking at middle May, June. Okay. Now, here's the kick. Here's the kick in the pants. Who wants the kick in the pants? Okay. The kick in the pants is this. How many doses are you going to have? Okay, 5, 6. Pfizer says, okay. And what I want to do is bring this up real quick. Where'd it go? Okay. I want to share my screen with you really quickly again. I want to go back to that report because it's hidden in the bottom of the press release. If you read down here, here's the actual press release, right? Based on, you guys see this sign? Based on current projections, we expect to produce globally up to 50 million vaccine doses in 2020 and up to 1.3 billion doses in 2021. Globally, 50 million. Okay. Now listen. Okay. Why is this important? Because let's do the math. In order for herd immunity to work, either there has to be people who caught it, which we're at 10 million positive cases in America now, and or they get vaccinated. We need a 70% rate. Okay, so we have 300, let's call it 350 million Americans, and this is just Americans, 350 million Americans, okay? And let's just say by next April, we have 20 million cases in America alone, okay? So I'm going to subtract 20 million minus 20 million, which you know is going to be 330 million. So that's 330 million people in America. Of those, 0.7% are going to have to get vaccinated to, 65 to 70%. We'll just call it, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll say 65%. For those people who don't think you need that much, I'll just say 65%. So 65% of 330 million is 214 million people. 214 million vaccines would have to be given for us to reach herd immunity. You guys understand what I'm saying? And Pfizer said 50 million doses globally. Globally. We're not going to be anywhere near the numbers, guys. Is this shocking? Please share this video if this is making sense to y'all. We're not anywhere near. It's going to be 2021 before we have any semblance of normalcy. And it's going to be a new normal. Does that make sense? Eye-opening to you guys? This is America alone. And Pfizer's talking about 50 million doses globally. Now, we got 7.5 billion people. I mean, the numbers are going to be mind-boggling. That's why we need more than one company who produces this vaccine. Okay, so I don't know. Someone asked this question. I don't know if a dose, because I can't find clarification on this. If a dose means like two, like including the booster, or if you actually, if that's really one dose and you have to get a second dose, right? So is it really double the number that we really need? I'm not sure. So if that's the case, we're really fucked, right? Now, here's number 7. And if you've been following me a long time, you know number 7 is always the catch, right? Number 7 is super important. And here's the big kick in the pants, man. This is where your girlfriend says, hey, I'm leaving you. I've been having an affair. And you go, what? You're leaving me? You had an affair? And the kick in the pants is, and it's your brother. You're like, what? It's my brother. And the kick in the pants is, the baby's not yours. What? The baby's not mine? You mean that half black kid is not mine? It's the kick in the pants. We don't know about lasting immunity. We might be putting too much emphasis on this vaccine or these vaccines, and we don't know how long it will last. We don't know if we're going to have to get a SARS-CoV-2 vaccine every year, or if it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing like chickenpox. Does that make sense? So you got to stay vigilant is my point, guys. You got to wear a mask. You got to social distance. If you are in my challenge, or if you've been following me for a long time, I've been telling you, if you're in a hot state and it's cold, you need to right now be wearing a face mask and a face shield when you go out. Face mask plus a face shield when you go out. I know you're going to think that's stupid. I know you're going to feel silly, but that's what you need. And if you are in a hot spot right now, like Chicago, 4,000 fucking cases a day, El Paso, Texas, ridiculous high numbers. It's 250 people per 100,000. It's one of the highest rates I've ever seen. New York City, you guys are back up to 1,000 cases a day up in New York City. Again, 1,000 cases a day, right? So it's coming. This is all the New Jersey stuff. This is all universities opening. This is Halloween. This is kids returning. Kids just went fucking trick-or-treating 9 days ago. Watch this. Comment if you've noticed since Halloween, you've had an outbreak of either in your school of either COVID or colds or flu-like symptoms. Because that's what happens right after Halloween. We know. Difference is now we have this ugly monster at the party called COVID, called SARS-CoV-2, and we don't know. We can't tell. There's a lot of moms and dads at home that don't know if their kid has a common cold. Will it get better, or are they not going to make it through the night because it really isn't the common cold? It really was coronavirus. Like we just had like a kindergartner die here in Texas. And they went to see the doctor, and the doctor says, most likely this is a cold. Send him home. Tested positive for coronavirus and was dead the next morning. Now, those are rare cases. I understand. Those are rare cases. But my point is, we are at 111,000 fucking cases a day here in the United States, man. You're going to have this massive, massive dark winter, massive anxiety, massive amounts of frustration and anger and lashing out. We need to come together. We need to not politicize this, right? This is a good first step. What Pfizer released today was optimistic. It's good news, but we are nowhere near the end, guys. Even when you hear the press report that says, oh, yeah, we're hoping for FDA approval, we are going to have this vaccine by January. Think, what did I just show you? They globally, Pfizer hopes to have 50 million doses. It's nowhere near, globally, 50 million doses. It's nowhere near the numbers we need. We are going to be in this for a long, long time. You guys got to hunker down. You can't get frustrated. You can't start screaming and shouting, okay? We are all in this together. We have to be, right? Um, that's my update for this Pfizer.